Hey, do you think they realize how dumb they sound when they keep saying Biden's economy, Obama did this, Democrats did that? I'm surprised they're not bringing up Jimmy Carter. Like, the gaslighting is running out.
Across the United States, some of Donald Trump's strongest supporters are speaking out, and this time, it's with regret. These are the voices of voters who once proudly backed Trump in 2024, but now say they can't stand by that choice. Listen closely to their stories, in their own words.
And we are back with another regret story from MAGA. Here's Crystal's story.
I voted for Trump and I'm sorry. I am uneducated. I grew up in public school system. I believed anything a teacher and a principal told me, and I didn't question it, and I walked in a straight line, and I didn't use critical thinking skills, okay? I didn't read Project 2025. I have a disabled child. I'm a single mom of 3. I believed what he said in his campaigns, and I fucked up, and I'm sorry, okay? Now, we're wanting accountability across the board. It starts with the people like me that made a mistake. I'm admitting it. The first step to progressing in anything is admitting that there is a problem. There was a problem in my judgment. I did not do my due diligence in my research, and I voted in a system that I had not enough awareness and knowledge of until shit started hitting the fan. So if you come for me in the comments and you start all of this hatred, because what we have right now are the people that voted for Trump and that are hiding and that they don't agree, like me, like I was until I'm making this video right now. And then we have the people that didn't vote, and then we have the people that voted for someone else, okay? And then most of all, what we have are citizens of the United States, we the people, complaining that this administration needs to take accountability. We start by leading by example, okay? So if you come for me in the comments with hatred and resentment, because what you have is a resentment for the people that voted for this, that you're a part of the problem. Please accept my apology so we can unite, come together, and move on. Let's lead by example. I fucked up.
Hey, Crystal, you don't need to start out your videos letting us know that you're uneducated. By the time we finished it, we already knew, honey. We knew.
You voted for Trump?
Yes, I sure did. I feel like I was tricked when you said you was going to close the border and go after the gangs. And then you probably only arrested 10 criminals and thousands of working class people. It's shameful. It's shameful what our nation has become. And you don't know what's going to happen to the kids. You don't know. That's who I'm really worried about. We're talking about thousands. We're not just talking about 3 kids or 4 kids.
So many people chose to go down that rabbit hole to see if change was really possible with this administration instead of actually doing their research. Because there's no way you wouldn't have seen this coming if you watched the first Trump term. All I know is history is going to look back on these moments where fascism took over and where democracy died. It's probably going to be the title.
I didn't care how things were affecting others until it affected me. Am I proud of that? No. We live in a very cruel world, and sometimes the only way to survive is by being selfish. We are all just out here trying to survive as best we can. And although we may have good intentions and we may be empathetic and we may be compassionate, we will always put ourselves first because we have to survive. And if that means making a mistake in my vote or maybe putting my trust in the wrong person like I did, then that's what it means. I will always put the betterment of my family and vote in ways that I think will help my family above anyone else.
Here's the problem with voting for your self-interest. I understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you're on the bottom and none of your needs are fulfilled, you can only think of yourself. But here's the problem with that, is you voted for your self-interest. So did everybody else in the Republican Party. Think about that for a minute. You voted for your self-interest, but you don't have anything. Like, you don't have anything. Like, that's what it is. But other people, rich people, they have a lot. So of course they're going to vote for their self-interest because they have something. You don't. You need the tribe, right? The socialized healthcare, the socialized dental care, schools, firefighters, police officers, all socialized systems. Is it clicking yet? You voted against the tribe. You know, humans didn't make it on their own. We always existed in a tribe, taking care of each other. You could only take care of yourself if you have something, and you don't have shit.
Many voters admit they never looked closely at the details. From tariffs that raised prices on everyday goods to healthcare plans that left families uncertain about coverage. Instead of policies, emotions and cultural divisions often drove their decisions. Now, some are questioning what they overlooked before casting their ballot.
The movement is taking hold for some people, and these are their voices. Stephanie Messina became a Christian nationalist in 2014, only a few years after she began her career as a pediatric respiratory therapist.
We were watching his addresses, and contrary to everything that I had been taught, being a trained respiratory therapist and working in one of the finest institutions in the country, I wasn't masking, and I was falling in line with all of these anti-science ideas.
Now, as a mom to 5 boys, Messina sees that a slippery slope led her into the Make America Great Again movement.
It isn't about Christianity, it's about control. MAGA is not about Jesus. I did 3 years of really hard work because I knew I needed to change. I knew that my wounds from my childhood, the Christian rights, Christian by name only, by the way, Christian nationalism, I will say it all day long, is Christian in name only, in name only.
Rich Logis considered himself a true MAGA supporter, but after the Republican response to the mass shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, he decided enough was enough.
When I was in the MAGA community myself, we had a fantasy of killing the Republican Party and making it a MAGA party. And I think it is safe to say that that fantasy is now a reality and that the GOP, whatever it was before 2015, no longer exists.
Since then, Logis set up a community for those who have left MAGA or those afraid to leave. He connected with Stephanie Messina after she posted about her departure on social media. They've been working together since.
MAGA is as addictive as nicotine. A lot of, well-meaning people on the left will say it's so pathetic that MAGA people don't wake up until something terrible happens to them. And I'm like, but it's so very human. It's so very human to need a wake-up call.
I've learned a lot about how much bravery it takes for someone to acknowledge publicly that they made a mistake, that they were wrong, that they acknowledge those errors, and that they want to make amends for any statements, actions, or rhetoric that may have harmed others.
Hi guys, my name is Jenny. I am a former Christian nationalist and white supremacist. Doing videos like this is extremely hard for me. It's very uncomfortable. It shines a light on things that I wish didn't exist in my past, but I think it's important for people to know what's inside the mind of women like the person that I used to be. And this selfie right here, which I've never shared on my social medias until this week, really embodies everything about my mindset, and so I want to break it down for you. First, let me tell you how I became a white supremacist Christian nationalist. Very simply, I was born and raised. I was born into the Mormon Church, whose scriptures teach that black skin is a curse from God for the unrighteous. And from the time I was a very young girl, I was taught that the fact that I was white and of European ancestry, the quote from the Mormon scriptures is literally white and delightsome. That's in the Book of Mormon. I was taught that that was a sign that I was better than people who didn't look like me. So as I was learning to speak and to walk and learning the alphabet and how to read and write, I was also simultaneously being taught that the Lamanites, everyone brown-skinned on the American continent, was cursed from God and that I was superior to them. I was also simultaneously taught that America was a promised land that God had preserved for his most righteous and obedient children. And to me, that was members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mormon scripture teaches that the Garden of Eden itself was on the American continent in Jackson County, Missouri, in a site called Adam Ondi Amen, and that Christopher Columbus was led across the ocean by the hand of God so that the righteous Europeans could repossess the American continent and restore the gospel of the Mormon Church in preparation for Jesus Christ returning to, guess where? Adam Ondi Amen, Jackson County, Missouri. I believed that the founding fathers were led by God and that the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bills of Rights were all written by the hand of God himself, just like the scripture. There was a little children's song that I used to sing from the time I was 2 or 3 years old. Book of Mormon stories that my teachers tell to me are about the Lamanites in ancient history. Long ago their fathers came from far across the sea, given this land if they live righteously. And this song goes on to talk about how that those people who are given the land of America are always led here by God, and that us in our day too have been led here by God, and we will be preserved and protected as a nation and as a community of believers in Christ as long as we're righteous. And that, my friends, that is the very definition of Christian nationalism, the belief that God created America and that America will only continue to exist as long as we are a Christian nation with his mantle of protection over us. So now to this little selfie here, because this just embodies everything. First of all, I am wearing my doTERRA shirt, which that's just such a Mormon thing. The essential oils company. I was a trad wife, but I did have an essential oils business, and I just feel like it's so classic. Around my neck, you'll see a little cross necklace. Now, Mormons don't typically wear the cross, but during this time, we were living in South Carolina, and my Baptist neighbors were very judgy. They were always telling me that Mormons weren't Christians, so I wore this cross proudly, just so the Baptists would know that, yes, we are Christians. And here's the crazy part. Right next to that cross, I have a Dixie flag pen. The only way I can explain that is I was racist. I was blatantly racist. I was a white supremacist. And the fact that I was totally comfortable having that little Dixie flag pin right next to my little mini cross tells you everything about the MAGA mindset that I have. This selfie was taken on our homestead where my little 102-pound racist Christian nationalist self was raising 4 children in the gospel.
I'm making this video because I voted for Trump. And a lot of my followers are Trump supporters. And I fully expect that I will probably lose a lot of friends and followers because of this opinion. First of all, if we are friends and you can't see past politics to continue being my friend, I just want to say I don't hold any ill will towards you. I totally understand if you feel the need to unfollow me, block me, and not be my friend anymore. I respect it completely. I just don't think we have the same Donald Trump that we had circa 2016 to 2020. This is not the same man. Somewhere along the way, he lost his way. To deny help to tornado victims. Then I heard he denied further assistance from FEMA to North Carolina. This is not the man we voted for. If you are upper middle class or below, I don't see how any of us are faring well under this president. And how long are we just going to close our eyes to it and pretend it's not happening because it's him? And at least it wasn't the other guy. I will no longer stand by and pretend that I have hope in this president, because I don't. This past weekend, what he did last night was 1,000,000% unacceptable. And if any other president did that, everybody would be losing their marbles. The cuts he made to programs that help lower income people, these secret dinners with people wearing masks. It's just craziness at this point, guys. And I just can no longer stand here and say I support it, because I don't. No, I'm not a Democrat. I don't trust the government at all. But I just hope our friendships are strong enough that you guys don't base it just on something political. But understand, I fully expect that I will lose friendships. And I'm sorry to see you go, but I hope you can understand my side as well.
So last night I was able to sit down with a few women on the right and talk to them, and here's what they had to say. It is how Christianity has been used as a weapon now. They see it as being used to incite PV across this country. Now, when I asked them about other things like prices going up, they said, yeah, we noticed it, but we just thought that it was maybe our area, that prices were going down other places and maybe they needed to shop differently, but they were brushing it off because they were being force-fed propaganda telling them that things were going down, and they had trusted what was being said because they trusted this administration. One woman referred to it as a hostage situation, that she felt she couldn't leave, that she had no choice, that this has been her whole life the past 8 years, that she didn't know what to do if she left because everybody in her life is on the right and they have made it their entire personality. It's what they talk about all the time. It's all they consume. It's their everything.
These Trump supporters in Maryland are finding out the hard way. Chrisfield, Maryland, a tiny seafood town on the Chesapeake Bay, voted overwhelmingly for Trump in 2024. They backed him hard. Even while their streets were flooding, businesses were leaving, and the town was slowly sinking into water. They thought Trump would look out for places like theirs. But I'm sure you can guess how much Trump cares about a little town in Maryland. If you said not at all, you'd be correct. His administration pulled the plug on a $36 million FEMA grant that Chrisfield had already won. Money meant to keep their town above water. Literally. After years of planning, after getting approval, after setting everything in motion, the town decided to vote against it by voting for Trump. The programs that were supposed to help small towns like Chrisfield deal with flooding and extreme weather, gone. And it's all thanks to the guy they voted for. And the mayor of Chrisfield is still holding out hope, hoping that their loyalty will count for something. They should have asked Mike Pence how his loyalty to Trump turned out for him. One local business owner had plans to build a hotel and marina. But now it's absolutely not happening anymore thanks to Trump. And another local business owner can't sell his marine shop. Probably because no one wants to buy in a town that might be underwater in a few years. Their police chief says if another big storm hits, Chrisfield might not survive it. And not metaphorically either. The town might just be gone. They voted for Trump thinking he would protect their small town, but instead they just voted to cut the lifeline that might have saved theirs. This is what happens when you vote for someone who doesn't believe in climate change, while your town is literally flooding. And you won't find any sympathy from me. You guys voted to pop yourself in the foot. Better yet, you guys voted to sink your own town. Congrats. You're getting what you voted for.
Ready for the ultimate fuck around and find out? Here it comes. Watch this, and then we'll discuss.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms. I wanted to give you guys
Okay, this Jethro is experiencing the ultimate MAGA FAFO moment. I don't know if you've seen his videos, but he's posted a couple of videos where he's basically come on here and he said, I voted for Trump because, well, in a nutshell, because he loves Trump's hate agenda. He doesn't like the fact that immigrants are coming here and taking money from the government. Taking money from the government is evil. You should pull up your own bootstraps and work. So in the next sentence, he comes out and he says, I voted for Trump and Trump took away my government subsidy that helped my farm stay in business.
But you made us a campaign promise. And I remember you said it at every stop. I'm going to fix the economy and get prices more affordable. You ain't done none of that. Not even a little bit. Stores are price gouging us on tariffs. Stuff that they're putting on tariffs on. And guess what? They're made here in America.
This you?
Oh, you big mad, ain't you? Do you know how economics works? You know, if they didn't get tax cuts, they wouldn't be able to pay you a fair wage.
Oh, so you have no idea how this shit works.
You have done absolutely nothing to help that. I'm sorry, but, we're struggling. You're erasing the middle class. You know, you said, oh, the left, they're all about erasing the middle class. No, you are too, because I know you got a lot on your plate, but man,
Stop making excuses. You were hoodwinked, bamboozled. You had the wool pulled over your eyes. He lied to you. You are nothing to him. You never were. You are nothing more than a check mark on a box in order to get him into the presidency. Someone needed to tell you a long time ago that to him, you don't matter. And you failed a very open book test.
It's Joe from Georgia, so voting has consequences, and those voters in the states of Kentucky and West Virginia are finding out that their vote, which, by the way, was overwhelmingly for Donald Trump in 2024, is coming back to haunt them. And the haunting is in the coal industry. The coal industry's had a tough time for decades. However, they had seen a new revival in that because they had a huge buyer in the world. Guess who? China. China is the biggest consumer of coal in the world, and they were buying it from companies out of West Virginia and Kentucky, where thousands of people are employed in the coal industry to make their living. Well, those people have been voting staunchly Republican for years. Well, in this instant, they are finally finding out that maybe they made a mistake. And not maybe, because the coal industry, once again, the largest consumer in the world of coal is China. The tariffs have made it to where China will not buy American coal. And without buying American coal, you're putting tens of thousands of people out of work in Kentucky and West Virginia. So once again, voting has consequences, and you're finding out in Kentucky and West Virginia. Good luck.
If you voted for Trump and now you're coming on the internet and saying that you regret it, I should be allowed to come over and pee on your bed.
Hey, do you think they realize how dumb they sound when they keep saying Biden's economy, Obama did this, Democrats did that? I'm surprised they're not bringing up Jimmy Carter. Like, the gaslighting is running out. I don't know if y'all feeling it or not. Like, it's to the point now when someone says, oh, it's because they want to give money to the illegals. Oh, because they want to give free healthcare to all the illegals. Like, man, shut that shit up. That is so old. Like, who's falling for that? Who's even getting upset that happens besides looking at them like they're damn fools? Like, I don't know, MAGA. I hope this reaches MAGA. MAGA, are y'all still falling for that shit? Go ahead, drop the gaslighting lines down in the comments, because it's hilarious now. Because you people, 4 years ago, when the economy was booming, jobs were going crazy, everything was going good, like a proper legislation passed that helped all the states, and y'all were bitching. Oh, is this eggs? Woody, 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 woo. We know what you were hiding for. We know what you really wanted to say, but this is what y'all were going with. All right? Fast forward 9 months to now. Jobs being lost like crazy. Before the government was shut down, they were firing government workers, right? Those numbers probably aren't being calculated into all these numbers, okay? And ever since January, it's been Joe Biden's this, the previous administration's that. Like, have they even done anything good for them to prop up? Everything that they celebrate is a teardown. Literally. Oh, we ended USAID. Yay, starved kids, sick people around the world, right? Oh, yeah, we're locking up borders. Yay, we got alligator Alcatraz. We're ripping families apart. What has been a righteous or good win that you celebrate? Think about that for a second. What has this administration done for the positive movement of Americans? Like a positive thing. Like, you know, for example, the infrastructure bill that was passed to help infrastructure around the United States and probably, you know, fix bridges and roads and all this stuff for the whole United States and the countries, except for, hold on now, guess what? The MAGA people or governors who didn't want to take it. I'm just saying, the gaslighting playbook is over with, man. Don't fall for it.
At the end of the day, elections aren't about slogans or sound bites. They're about policies that shape our lives. It's our responsibility as Americans to look past talking points, to research what candidates truly stand for, and to vote not based on status or appearance, but on the content of their character and the impact of their plans. We must confront classism, racial bias, and prejudice head-on, because if we ignore them, we risk repeating the same mistakes over and over again. If you found these stories important, please like, comment, subscribe, and share so more people can join this conversation.